It's very different from a conventional classroom. It's what every teacher longs to be able to
That's
do.
exactly what I was thinking as I sat here. What every last one of you said was something to do with feelings. None of you talked about a specific lesson or a specific piece of information, but you were talking about the feelings you had of sharing your school life with people that you felt were supportive. And I, as a traditional high school teacher, I want to do that for the 150 kids who walk by me when the bell rings. And I literally tried to touch their bodies as they walk in, but it's never going to be as good as this. It's sad that every kid doesn't have the opportunity that you guys did, and I guess it can't be. Well,
just as sad as it is for us too, that in my 30 years and stuff, that was 2 years of my life, and in these 30 years, those were the only 2 years of my life that it was like that. It's sad for every one of us because we're probably never going to experience anything like that again.
Yeah, you can't get it back.
You can't get it back at all, and this is, I think, what we're here for is, and what we're thinking about is something that we yearn for. Why can't people be as genuine as they were back then, where the people here had no motives or ulterior motives and everything was so simplistic?
Because in order to have a relationship that you had, think of the time, not only the quality that you spent together, but the quantity. You lived life together. You're talking about true communal living. You could have it. You could recapture part of it. You guys could have reunions once a year and, bring your families and have picnics, and you could hang on to this. I was thinking that I had an English class years ago, and I taught them our town, and I gave them parts, how English teachers do. Well, I found out 4 years later when they graduated, my kids kept their parts. They kept the little town of our town going, and they used to meet once a year, and it was just like adorable. I didn't know they were doing it. But you could at least hang on to the feelings that you have for each other a little bit. But you're right. You would have to, this is like a big family that you're talking about missing.
And it's different because the people are out there. It's not like when somebody passes away or somebody dies and you go to a wake and then they close the coffin and it's the final chapter and you can deal with that. Here, you can't deal with this because these people are there, they're real, and they're going to be real for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And only these people can know what you've experienced.
I think some of us found for a long time that there was no one to talk to about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Except
Somebody who was,
Right. People in the army go through when they leave the army.
I must communicate well to some people, because I recall a few times, if anybody would ask me about my history, this would always come up, and I always discussed it in the positive ways that I remember, and at least 3 people at the end of my conversation said, "And so where is the school?" And at the end of my conversation would be, "It's gone now."
But I don't believe the school is gone. Someone had asked me a couple of years ago, like, where'd you go to school? And I told them, I went to the Maslow-Toffler program, but I really didn't tell them what it was about. And they were going through a process, a time in their life when it was really rough. And I really didn't explain the school too much. And I talked to the person. The person was like really destitute. They were going to do something. And I talked to the person, and I realized after I had got done talking to them that Maslow was there all along. Maslow is what brought me to talk to that person like that. Learning from the class processes that we've had over the years. With all of us, and I carry that with me wherever I go. And you may not realize it, it may not be there, but it's when you need it, all you have to do is reach down inside yourself, and it's there. It's there, and you can cope with just about anything. And that's what Maslow had really given to me. It gave me, an objective way to talk to people and communicate in a special way, and I thought it was a special part of my life.
Yeah, for me, also, I think it was a beginning of a path for myself. I'm here. And it kind of started going to Maslow. I came from Port Jefferson and commuted to Maslow every day.
We were so proud of that.
It was definitely worth it. I met one of the facilitators at a workshop that my uncle was running. He was running workshops, and school for me, the regular high school, was not working for me. you know, I knew I would graduate. I just wasn't happy with the whole thing. You know, just the learning. I never conformed to rules that well. Stuff like that. Anyway, one of the facilitators was explaining the program to me, and I said, you know, it was between my 11th year, and it was the summer of my 11th grade, and I said, he explained this program to me as best as he could, and I said, I definitely have to go there. You know, I knew then it was the beginning of a path for me. My education.
And you actually paid tuition.
Yeah,
To the
I actually
private
paid
schools.
tuition to go for it. When I got the letter for this program, one thing that came across my mind is, you know, maybe I still owe them a little bit more money. Stuff's been going like that. But anyway, I was so happy to get that letter because I've been talking to my wife about Maslow, and we met each other. I've been in special education for a number of years, and we met together. We worked together in the same classroom, and we married. And anyway, I bring Maslow experience with me in my work for sure. I mean, I went on into college. I'm a vocational rehab counselor now. I've been working with people with disabilities, supporting employment programs, and I'm a vocational evaluator now. And I run a recreation program in the evening, and I work through the school districts too. So I still have some contact with the district, working with them. Attend board meetings, and I remember the board meeting we all went to. Students going to board meetings, you know, 40, 30 of us going to board meetings because our school was in jeopardy, and I was totally impressed with that. You don't see that happening now. I go to board meetings because we're fighting for money for our recreation program now, and you don't see any students there. At Maslow, you know, 30, 40 students show up at the board meeting, you know. It's just because of how the school was. They empowered people to care about this school.
Pat,
Stuff like that,
I'm remembering on this video there was one mention of the fact that we were so proud of one board meeting in a year, 85 people showed up, 85 students.
85.
That was the Whalen and the Perry issue, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Probably, whatever
Yeah.
it was.
We were all very
Walk drew a
impressed.
picture for that one.
Oh, yeah. Do you have it?
Came to a head, huh?
What Lee said, I remember how proud you all were. And it felt very special to have you with us that year. That was an outstanding. As a matter of fact, after you, they were afraid to allow anyone else
Is that
to
right?
come in to pay tuition because there were other people who wanted to pay tuition from other locations on the island to come. And the board was afraid that the community would react, so they said no. You can't have it.
And to me, this
Oh, I think, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have to. Now I'm going to do a paranoid thing. I don't think that they were afraid of how the community would react. I think that they were afraid that members who were paying tuition would necessarily make it a positive place because they were paying for it, and they were almost enjoying watching the slow, quiet demise because of the political changes that everyone was going through.
I don't know. I've thought round and round about that, Kathy, and I think that as we may forget that we were part of a movement across the whole country, and we were just little Brentwood, and we were in the US of A in the 1980s, and there was something going on that was sweeping from one coast to the other, and we were just a part of that. How many alternative schools are left now that were alive and well in that period on Long Island alone? There are very few alternative schools left, but paradoxically, many school districts are now looking to reinvent the very thing that we had.
Well, yeah, I think that it comes down to, that's the problem, like, with the country today. I mean, we were given a special gift by, you know, the facilitators and you guys, to take responsibility for ourselves. And in a normal structured class, the teachers and the supervision take responsibility for them. And I think a lot of, you know, from my observation, I could see that the kids today, they really don't have any sense of responsibility, and that's why these things are happening so like they are now. But Maslow gave to me the responsibility. I could see something, I'd be responsible for it. And that's, you know, the way it basically helped me out.
In a nutshell, I think we were definitely ahead of our time, and now what's coming around is what's funny, it's the time now.
They're ready now.
It's like,
Right.
now they're ready for us back then, and that's a big thing. I remember the year after I graduated, when I said I went back for that last graduation in 1984. And I sat in the back of the room and I watched all the students get up and how bitter they were about the the school closing and all. And they got up there and they said their piece of mind. They were ticked off, and they spoke their piece with the school board members there and the school principal, and they really knocked at them for a little bit. Finally, I was thinking of what I was going to say to these people, to say goodbye and everything. I went up, and I still remember that what I did is I kind of turned it around on them. And I said, I respect everybody, how they're feeling and how they're angry and at, something coming to an end like this. But why turn around and put the blame on the administration and put the blame on the politics? I turned around and put the blame on them. I put the onus on them because they allowed it to happen. And I said to them, people prior to you would never have allowed it to happen. We didn't allow it to happen.
That's a problem.